Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are talking about the solar eclipse. It is on March 29. It's at 9 degrees of Aries. This is the last Aries eclipse that we're going to have until October 2032. And then on March 30, Neptune goes into the sign of Aries for the first time in 164 years. What does this mean for you? That's what we're going to talk about. For those of you who are new, welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. We're going to do a short overview, and then we're going to look at your sign in particular and love and money. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you would like a copy of your chart so you can follow along in these videos, I'll send you a PDF. There's a link in the description. An eclipse closes a door in your life, and it forces you to move forward. We had 18 months of Aries Libra eclipses, and this put a focus on yourself and one-on-one relationships. And 2 weeks ago, we started the 18-month cycle of Virgo Pisces eclipses, where the focus is on taking our spiritual ideas and our vision of what could be and applying this to our daily lives. Eclipses disrupt the status quo. And as disruptive as they are, it is almost always the case that we look back on these times and think that it was necessary and beneficial. But at the time, it can feel uncomfortable. This particular eclipse is at 9 degrees of Aries. I give a 5-degree orb. That means if you have any planets between 4 degrees and 14 degrees, you are getting hit by this eclipse. If you have planets in Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, you're getting a harder hit. And if this eclipse falls within 5 degrees of your birthday, you are getting a direct hit. So that means that some aspect in your life is going to change. We'll talk about where the changes might be for you when we talk about the individual signs. But it is beneficial for you to look at your life and what you have been wishing to change, even though maybe you're not feeling ready for that change. Because when you ask questions like that, when you say what should change in my life, what could change in my life, you are starting to train your mind to look for opportunities. Now, we had a very similar eclipse back in October 2024. It was on October 2nd, and it was at 10 degrees of Libra. Libra is the opposite sign to Aries, and so there is a similar energy. So think about what was happening back in October of 2024. Maybe you are finishing up some of that energy with this current eclipse, or maybe you need to make some additional changes in that same area of life, or maybe somehow you avoided making a change then, and now the changes are happening. Now, besides this eclipse, on March 30, Neptune goes into the sign of Aries. It did this last time on April 13th, 1861. Now, for you history buffs out there, you may recognize that date. That was the day after the Civil War in the United States began. And so that back then was all about divisions, and right now we are a very divided people. Energies like this tend to repeat, giving us an opportunity to improve and make things better. Neptune represents our vision, the idealized version of what we want to create in our lives. But it also rules nightmares and fear. And so it's both the utopian ideas and the dystopian ones. It's two sides of the same coin. Since our thoughts become our actions and our actions become our life, it's important now to find the vision of what it is you want to create in your life. And then you'll be able to work to make that a reality. Now, I know that does not sound easy in this world today, but it's worth trying. It's worth working towards. And with Neptune, it doesn't mean keeping your head in the clouds. Your vision may include very practical things that you're doing, maybe in your community to fight for your kids' education, or to keep books in schools, or to have equality and opportunity for everyone. And then soon Saturn's going to enter the sign of Aries. And so with Saturn, the ideas that you formulated using the Neptune energy, then the Saturn sees as blueprints, and it starts constructing your life. Okay, Virgo, this eclipse for you is about power. And so the eclipse energy is asking you to look and see if you are giving away your power, or if you are needing to take power back, or if you are just feeling like you're powerless when you're not. So this is about recognizing that you have choice, that you have opportunities out there, and they may not seem like good opportunities, or they may seem very difficult opportunities, but they are still choices. And as you start to move, things will loosen up. The energy of Virgo is kind of like sand. As one little grain moves, then another one moves, and another one moves. But you have to start with that first little grain. And I know in this world that they say that all this money, that some people have, a very small group of people have, is power. And money certainly gives people a loud voice. But it is certainly not the only power out there. There is a lot of power in a person knowing that they have opportunities, that they can make different choices, that they can go in a different direction, that they don't have to agree with what the person in front of them is saying. So that's the power that you can pull into your life right now. Virgo, you have the gift of diligence, and that is that you don't overlook opportunities. You look through them and you let them, like every little detail, you look and see, could this work? What needs to be changed if I adjusted this? So trust in that ability that, as a door opens, you can look and say, all right, I can see that there's some good points here, there's some bad points. Let me weigh these. And if it doesn't work, you go to the next opportunity, because there will be one, and another one, and another one. That's the shifting grains of sand. And if you would like to know more about what's ahead for you in 2025 and 2026, I do readings. There's a link in the description. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Mercury is making a conjunction with Saturn, and that indicates, and I know it's out of sign, so it does feel like it's a little distant and all of that, and maybe a little remote, like it's impossible that I can meet somebody new. But this, because it's out of sign, means that you would be meeting the person in unusual circumstances, or unexpectedly, or they are very different than you normally go out with, so you weren't expecting them to ask you out. So there is something that's a little out of nowhere happening here. But otherwise, the energy for you finding new love during this 2-week period is quite strong. So you might want to say, okay. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, the energy is similar and yet even stronger. And that is because Mercury is retrograde and Neptune is going forward, and they are going to meet in a conjunction. And this is bringing you more harmony in your relationship, something that you two thought you were miles apart on. You actually have more of a basis of a connection, an understanding. And so this may be just a shift in vocabulary. What you are defining one word as, they have a different definition. And as you realize that, you say, oh, we're talking about the same thing, and we already agree. So I think that you're going to discover that there's more common ground here than you thought. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from Venus, which is retrograde, and moving to conjunct the North Node. So that is going back to something you were thinking about before, because that actually is more in line with your life path. So this is, our life path it's a tricky thing, because it can feel really risky to go do these things. But if we do them, that brings happiness. So with Venus there lighting this up, it shows you that, like, something that maybe keeps recurring in your life, a thought that you want to do something, or something comes back as a job opportunity, but that thing that has returned, see if that's not within the scope of your life path, because it really could be. And then you'll know that that's where you should pursue, even if it feels a little risky. Now, when it comes to money from business or investments, Venus is making a trine to Mars. So you have some really good energy when it comes to making more money over this next 2 weeks. A trine is very nice. Like if you just step out the door, opportunities can come quite easily. So that means when you make sales calls, people pick up. When you somebody places an order and then they do an add-on. Your broker can give you some really good investment advice, or you can find some good investments for yourself. So this is very good energy for you. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be a paycheck, the moon is not making an aspect with Venus. And right now, those two are going opposite directions. So they're kind of some miles apart. So that means this is not the best time to be asking for a raise. There could be, big changes going on in your company. There could be a ripple effect from changes going on in other companies or the government. So this isn't the time to be making demands in that area. Your time will come, and this energy will line up very nicely in the future. But right now, at this time, it's difficult to get a raise. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Consider signing up for my newsletter where I talk about astrological happenings every week. And if you would like to know personally what is up for you in 2025 and 2026, I do readings. There's a link in the description, and I will see you in the next video.